When I first found out I had breast cancer, I had had bladder cancer before. I was first diagnosed in 2002. I found out I had breast cancer in 2010. I felt like I had been run over by a truck, as I had been cancer-free for almost 6 years. And here I was at the doctor's office for what I thought was a routine checkup, and here was the big C word again.
My sister Karen was the youngest of three of my sisters. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in around 2000, and she died in 2009.
Well, my grandmother, she was a breast cancer survivor. In 1972, right after her father had passed away, who she cared for, she spoke to my mother that following week after the funeral and told her that during that process that she had discovered a lump in her right breast.
After I had my baby, I went for my checkup, and I went early at 4 weeks instead of 6 weeks. My doctor felt it that day, and she immediately sent me off. And she's like, "You're 27, this shouldn't happen, but we're gonna just check it because I don't want it to be something and not do anything about it."
My mom got diagnosed about 6 years ago, and she had decided when she got diagnosed that she says, take them off, don't want them, because they were just going to just remove the one breast. And she says, no, take them both, because I know I'm going to die one day, but I'm not going to die from breast cancer.
And so when my doctor told me over the phone, it just felt like the life drained out of me. And I had to catch my breath. And I had to wonder, is this my time? I'm 47, and I was angry because I had tried to do all the things that all the medical experts say you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a good diet, and you're not supposed to smoke, and you're not supposed to drink, and you're supposed to eat right and exercise and keep a healthy weight. And so I was doing everything I could to not get cancer.
It's only because of her that I went for my checkup. I had had my tubes tied a little bit a year before, and I went for my checkup, and they told me I needed to go have a biopsy done. And I told her it's probably nothing. And I went for the biopsy, and I waited for maybe another week, and they called me while I was at work, and they told me that I had cervical cancer.
My mother developed cancer in '96, I think it was. And to shorten the story, she ended up with cancer 5 times. And on the 5th time, she just said, "I'm done." She gave up.
And then the following day after that, it was April 12th, and I was sitting in the parent pickup line to pick up my little girl when they called me. And I was by myself. I had to try to hide it from her. She wasn't old enough to understand anything. And I got home, told my husband, and we all sat in the middle of my kids' room and cried.
This week, I got the best news ever. I had the first pap smear and the first mammogram I've ever had since my diagnosis in 2010 that they didn't call the oncologist in. I got my results like 4 hours later. I am cancer-free.
But it's only because of her that I went to get checked out. If it wasn't for her encouraging us, I wouldn't have. And I could be in a totally different situation right now.
And I asked my doctor, I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, it's a good thing that you did all of those things, otherwise you might have got it earlier, like your mother did." And so today I still fight the fight, but the question at the time wasn't, why me? The question was, why does any woman have to go through this?
There's too many people suffering, and too many lives lost because we don't have a cure. For anyone who has never ridden on a motorcycle, it's a feeling like no other. It's like live like you're dying. It's like it's your last day.
I just love it. It's something I've done, almost all my life, and I just love it. I love the freedom. I love riding with friends and going places and just seeing the country on two wheels.
Something about being connected to the wind and the earth and the road and the sky and the smells and the engine and the power. It just transcends you into a different place.
I think everyone needs to experience that once in their life. Get on that bike and you just tune the whole world out.
I wanted to get back on my Harley and ride because I hadn't been able to ride for over a year. And so I went to a Ladies of Harley meeting, and they were talking about putting together a calendar to raise money for breast cancer.
Losing your youngest sister is pretty hard for a big brother because I was pretty helpless. I couldn't do anything for her. So we've been going on these motorcycle rides, and the Harley's Angels would be there. And after she was diagnosed, I stopped and talked to the ladies and bought a calendar, and they signed it for her and stuff. And I sent it to her just to show her that I was participating in something that was fighting what she was fighting.
And so every year we were out there with our new calendars, spreading the word, raising money for MD Anderson. The first year we raised $60,000 and donated it to Baylor. And it seemed so easy at the time. We thought, yeah, let's do this again. And so now we're 18 years into a calendar and $920,000 donated.
And the reason I chose Harley's Angels is because I would buy their calendars for my sister every year, and if I was late, she would call me up and say, "Where's my calendar?"
That was one of the things I don't think we ever thought would be a benefit of Harley's Angels, was to be able to connect to the community in such a way.
And I met the people with Harley's Angels, and I shared my story, and they shared their story. And I've been working with Harley's Angels ever since.
Bob's life was touched, and I remember when he called me and told me about his sister. He mentioned that he'd gone to the Susan G. Komen race, paid his $35, did a walk, came back feeling like that's just not enough. I want to do more.
And one year, my wife and I went up to visit Karen, and when we went to her house, every calendar I had bought her was hanging on her wall. And that told me that that organization was very special to her. So when I decided, who do I give the money to? Well, it's going to be Harley's Angels because they meant so much to her.
So he wanted to do a concert for Harley's Angels. And that was a new concept for us. And he wanted to do all the work, and of course I said, sure.
I talked it over with my wife, and we decided that was something we wanted to do, and so we set it up.
Bob told me what had transpired and with him and his sister Karen, and what he was doing to fill her memory and done something, good out of her situation. And I immediately said, hey, I'm on board. If you need sound equipment, whatever you need, I'm there for you.
Bob's sister Karen was one of my really good friends. We grew up right behind each other there in Hooks. Hooks, it's a little bitty, teeny tiny town in northeast Texas. And here I am in Galveston, and I find out about Bob, and Texas Heartstrings.
So I thought I need a venue. And then one of my friends said, well, he was a volunteer at the 1940 Air Terminal Museum. He said he would check and see if we could use it. And they said, sure, you can use it for free on a Thursday. So I said, for free, let's do it. Now I need a band. Who do we get to play? You know, who's the entertainment? I approached Shake Russell and Michael Hearn, and they agreed to play it.
Never miss a chance. Shed a little light. Give a little love. Make a wrong a right. Lend a helping hand. Anytime you can. Ask your love to dance. Never miss a chance.
The theme of the song was never miss a chance to help somebody, you know, give a little love and light out there in the world. So when we worked on it, that's what attracted me, and we've been playing it for almost 2 years now, I guess, almost a year and a half. And the audiences react to it. They like it, just like they do Today's the Day. It's a positive message. And that's what attracted me to the song.
If you're a person that enjoys music, which I have all my life, that was like a dream come true.
We love that you love the song, and that it helped start, you know, the whole thing. You know, it helped start
10
the whole
years
thing.
ago.
Yeah. Was it 10 years?
This will be the
wow.
10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job, and
Glad to be part of it.
we're glad to be part of it.
And it's like, okay, now we have a music and a band. The ticket money's going to pay for those. I said, how do we make money for Harley's Angels? And we thought, well, we'll have silent auction and a live auction. What do you know? Here we are 10 years now. And I think our total, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere, just from our event for Harley's Angels, is somewhere around $170,000 over the past 10 years. So this is our 10th year anniversary.
Texas Heartstrings is an organization that is dear to my heart because of what they do. And I love music, so it was just a perfect fit for me to want to be a part of it.
I found a great group of people that are passionate about ending cancer, ending breast cancer, and it's, you know, I can't say enough positive things about them.
And so I do it out of my love for my grandmother. And you know, I want the family to see that, you know, some good came out of this with what had happened to her.
Part of my journey, part of being a survivor, part of the right of survivorship, part of having the privilege to live past it was to speak out and tell women and men that it's not, doesn't have to be a death sentence, but we got a lot of work to do.